Al-Ṭabarī is often cited in traditional Islamic scholarship for his vast history of prophets and kings, but much of it is a compilation of reports rather than original revelation. As I was reading, I noticed that his portrayal of Iblis as a powerful being called Azāzīl, who ruled the lower heavens before rebelling, doesn't actually align with the Quran itself, and instead looks closer to Gnostic or other esoteric myths. His work, while historically influential, carries clear traces of foreign and occult ideas woven into Islamic narrative.
Iblīs, number 1, not an angel. Number 2, he's a jinn, always was, always will be. Number 3, prostration has nothing to do with this going down.
Okay, the history of al-Ṭabarī, Volume 1, General Introduction, and From the Creation to the Flood. Now I'm going to take you straight to page 249. Story of Iblīs. First among the ungrateful is Iblīs, their guide, their leader, and their chief. May God curse him. Okay, now check this out. I read this and I found it really strange and kinda similar to something I've read somewhere else. God had created Iblīs beautiful. He had ennobled and honored him, and reportedly made him ruler over the lower heaven and the earth. Iblīs made a ruler over lower heaven and earth. Strange. In addition, he had made him one of the keepers of paradise, but he became overbearing toward his Lord and claimed divine lordship for himself and reportedly called on those under his control to worship him. Therefore, God transformed him into a stoned Satan. Now, I just have no clue where does this man, al-Ṭabarī, got all of this from, because the Quran doesn't speak of any of this. Not at all. Let's continue. He deformed him and deprived him of the benefits he had granted him. He cursed him and drove him out of his heavens in the fleeting present world, and then gave to him and his followers and partisans the fire of hell as their place of residence in the other world. We take refuge in God for protection against his divine wrath and against whatever action brings a person close to his wrath and against getting into trouble. We shall begin with a summary of the reports that have come down to us from the early scholars about the honors given Iblīs by God before he became overbearing toward him and claimed what was not his to claim. Subhanallah. Did you guys hear this? Iblīs became overbearing on God. How is that possible? Now let me show you guys what does overbearing mean. The meaning of overbearing is unpleasantly overpowering. So al-Ṭabarī is saying that, astaghfirullah, Iblīs was unpleasantly overpowering over God, over Allah. Astaghfirullah. Did you see this guy? What did he wrote? Then, okay. We hope to continue with mentioning the events in the days of his rule and royal authority until all of that ceased to be his, and to mention the reason why the earlier favors and beautiful benefits and other things God had bestowed on him ceased to be his. All of this in an abridged form. Allah didn't tell us any of this in the Quran. I don't know what is all of this. Where are they getting all of this from? Okay, now the received reports about the control and rule of Iblīs over the lower heaven and the earth and all in between. Iblīs was one of the noblest angels and belonged to the most honored tribe among them. He was a keeper of paradise. He had the authority to rule over the lower heaven as well as the earth. So they love to be called angels. That is for a fact. You can find it everywhere. Angels, fallen angels. The Quran tells us he was from a jinn. Kana min al-jinn.
Have you ever heard of that word tasawwuf, Sufi? They have these turbans and ranks and they have these tariqas and everything. It comes from this idea that they believe as humans that they're angels, because the person they serve looks like an angel to them all the time, and he tried to be an angel as well. When Allah uses the word accept, E-X-C-E-P-T, that really means accept. If he says, accept Iblis, all the malaika, they prostrated entirely. Next ayah, except Iblis, aka never was an angel, never will be an angel, cannot be an angel. The exact opposite. And that's why the world worships him. Literally.
Second report. There was an angelic tribe of jinn, and Iblis belonged to it. He governed all in between the heaven and the earth. Who is telling these guys all of this, when Allah did not tell us any of this at all? Then another report. Iblis was made ruler over the lower heaven. He belonged to a tribe of angels called jinn. Subhanallah. A tribe of angels called jinn. They were called jinn because they were the keepers of paradise, al-Jannah. Oh, wow, man. Where are they getting this from? Seriously. Now another report. Okay, this is like commenting on God's word on Samael. They prostrated themselves except Iblis. He was one of the jinn. Ibn Abbas used to say Iblis was one of the noblest angels and belonged to their most honored tribe. He was a keeper of paradise, and his was the rule over the lower heaven as well as the earth. There is an angelic tribe called jinn. Iblis belonged to them. He used to rule all in between heaven and earth. Then he became disobedient, and God therefore transformed him into a stoned Satan. Now let me show you guys where this actually stems from in reality. Okay, there's something else I would like to read. There's another report says, before committing disobedience, Iblis was one of the angels. His name was Azāzīl. He was one of the dwellers on earth. He was one of the most zealous and knowledgeable of the angels. That led him to the haughtiness. He belonged to a tribal group called jinn. However, he said Iblis was an angel named Azāzīl. He was one of the dwellers and cultivators on earth. The dwellers on earth from among the angels used to be called jinn. Dwellers and cultivators. Alright guys, check this out. Archon. Now this is from Gnosticism. Archons in Gnosticism and religions closely related to it are the builders of the physical universe. What we just saw, the dwellers and the cultivators. Among the Archontics, Ophites, Scythians, and in the writings of Nag Hammadi library, the Archons are rulers, each related to one of 7 planets. They prevent souls from leaving the material realm. The political connotation of their name reflects rejection of the governmental system as flawed without chance of true salvation. In Manichaeism, the Archons are the rulers of a realm within the kingdom of darkness, who together make up the Prince of Darkness. The Prince of Darkness. What we just read a little while ago. Iblis made a ruler over lower heaven and earth. That he was given the rule on the lower heavens and the earth, which is not from the Quran. This is according to al-Ṭabari's history, which is parallel to this concept of the archons in Gnosticism. They are talking about this concept called the Demiurge.